Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We have heard a lot about auto glass in-house at dealerships, and today we are presenting you with an expert panel. With us today is Mark Haeck from Glass Management Software. Mark's been on the roundtable before. Also with us today is Chris Tkacyzk, who's the Director of Collision Operations at the West Herr Automotive Group. They are the largest franchise retailer of vehicles in New York State. You will recognize Tully Williams, the Fixed Operations Director from the Nelo Group in Sacramento, is with us, and Ed Roberts, the COO of Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted. Glad to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have everybody here. Chris, first time, welcome. We've been hearing a lot about West Herr. I know about West Herr. I lived in that Buffalo market for a number of years, and great job that you are doing. And now we want to learn a little bit more about auto glass. So thank you for joining us today.
Yeah,
Mark, let me start with you first, though.
Okay.
What is the number one reason why dealerships should handle auto glass services in-house?
I think it's a smart move. It's a money maker, but why pay that money out to a third party? We did a look here recently of our customer base, and I narrowed it down to just the dealerships. And we've got dealerships doing a little bit of glass. We've got dealerships doing a lot. On average, we're seeing companies make $500,000 a year just from their auto glass revenue. So, I mean, there's money to be made out there. Why share it with somebody else? ADAS calibrations has increased the income potential. It's not just the glass now, but with ADAS, I see crazy stuff in the industry where an auto glass shop will do the glass work and then send it off to the dealership for the calibration. Why not do it all, guys?
Yeah.
Make all the money. I don't tell my glass shop customers that, but seriously, I look at it this way. The dealership is uniquely positioned to totally handle service on a vehicle. Why outsource any part of it? Why send your customer down the street for one part? Because the next thing you know, they're going to be doing it for something else.
All right.
So it's a moneymaker. We're seeing it grow. I see some opposition to it, but we're seeing growth in that area.
Chris, let me come to you over at West Herr. We're hearing a lot about bringing glass in-house. You've done it now for a number of years. Tell me what brought upon the move to do that and your thoughts.
So the genesis of it originally started with our collision centers. We were using sublet vendors, like Mark had alluded to do a lot of our glass work. So not only coming in for easy removals and reinstalls as part of the collision repair process, but also buying all of our glass from sublet vendors instead of from ourselves. But as the technological pieces of cars started to advance and cars became more towards adaptive driving systems and safety systems and things such as that nature, glass became a real big piece of that component. So not only from a keep our customers in our ecosystem, we want to keep our customers in the dealership ecosystem and make sure that we can supply every bit of service need that they have for their car, one-stop shop, if you will. We also are thinking about our customer safety. These vehicles now are affected by auto glass. So there's the component of aftermarket versus OEM. We're very leaning towards the OEM piece of that because the vehicle manufacturers strongly recommend that for the safety of customers. And so cars operate exactly the same way after you've done a windshield, per se. So we want to keep our customers in our ecosystem. We want to keep them as part of Team West Herr for us, and also ensure that we have safety as top of mind for our customers. We have certified technicians working on these vehicles so that we can keep our customers and the vehicles operating exactly as they're intended to.
Chris, somebody recently on the roundtable said this is all about repeat and referral business. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Your customers are generally already in your dealership because they like what you do. So keep them liking what you do and let them have that repeat and referral business back to you, not only for service and sales, but also for auto glass work as well.
Tully Williams up in Sacramento, I understand you're not doing this just yet, although you may be. Tell me some of your thoughts.
So we do OEM glass, and at some of our stores, our BMW stores have been doing it for years. And it started as is that why are we letting the good business go somewhere else? Why are we letting someone come on our dealership in a van with his name on it or her name on it and put the glass in? Why can't we do it? Yes, we're not going to get our door rate. It doesn't matter. When we look at it, it takes 4 hours to put a glass in a BMW. What technician doesn't want 4 hours? Now we're going to do it at $260 an hour? Of course not. But our goal is to bring all those hours and that glass in-house. And we also look at it as the BMW started, before I even got here 5 years ago, is that all of a sudden we realized that Jag Land Rover loves to break glass. God bless America. And when you sell glass contracts, what do they want to put on? OEM glass, $2,500. And we get to put in, 4 to 5 hours to put it in at list price. I mean, what more can you ask for in this glass? So now all of a sudden, all these technicians, guess what they want to do? They want to learn how to put glass in cars. And now it's the next great craze. And what's going to help with Mark's product is that we're going to start working on when we do our used cars that are not OEM, because we're used to OEM brands, is we're going to start working on non-OEM glass, and that's where that's really going to be exciting for, because we do glass for a body shop, but now the calibrations, like Chris said, is a huge deal. Do you want a person practicing on your car to calibrate the brakes, or do you want a factory trained technician to work on that to calibrate the brakes? I say I want a factory trained. So think about glasses: more hours for the shop, more dollars for the shop. And of course, it's repeat referral business. Make sure the customer doesn't go anywhere else.
Ed, your thoughts?
Well, totally spot on. If we're in the repeat and referral business, we want to own that customer for life. And if we want to own them for life, it wasn't that long ago that we used to send them down the road for tires. Now there's not a dealer out there that doesn't do tires. So every time there's something that we send customers down the road for, we ultimately end up finding a way to bring them back. Well, why aren't we doing that yet here? And then tying the technology piece. But it wasn't that long ago as well that windshields was just glass. Now there's so many elements that ties into the windshield. You got heads-up displays, you got the cameras, you got so many things that ties into it, the calibrations that has to happen. We're the most in tune with it anyway. Let's make it right to begin with, because as soon as we start calibrating something that somebody else put in, now it's our responsibility. So even if there's something wrong, it still comes back on us. So take on the responsibility. Don't send your customers down the road. Be in the repeat and referral business. Take care of your customers from start to finish.
Chris, were there any challenges? And if so, what were they that you came upon as you embarked on this basically new business?
Oh yeah, definitely challenges. I could say that there were quite a few. So some to name a few would be finding the genesis of somebody that can help us, understand things about a business, because we didn't want to just go after only our customer base with customer pay or warranty. We wanted to look out there in the insurance realm too. We wanted to capture customers that we didn't already possibly capture. So finding ourselves somebody, an industry expert that could help us get this thing off the ground was something that was critical for us. We were able to find them and bring them aboard on our team and kind of help us understand the business that we had never been a part of. So once we got that going and kind of understood what it was that we needed to put our energy and our efforts into, we could start going into, all right, well, how are we going to market ourselves? How are we going to make sure that our customers and our community know that we do this? We figured all that out and kind of got that done. And then, well, where do you store all this glass? Because it's fragile stuff. So trying to find space to put it somewhere and make sure that it can be safe. And then thankfully, we're very lucky. All of our service bays are always full. All of our collision bays are always full. So space, where are we going to do this work? So then we had to find locations and where we can do this work. So industry expert had to get one of those to make us and help us understand what we're looking at and what we're trying to do. And then actually working with Mark and his team over there to get some software going. That was something that was really critical. So partnering up with his team and using his software to help us control our business model.
Chris, you're right. I hadn't thought about that, to store that glass. And also temperature-wise, Rochester and Buffalo are not the most moderate climates, especially during the winter months.
Yeah, they are not. They're definitely known for being quite cold. A lot of we dump salt on the roads over here, so we break a lot of windshields with salt chips. That happens a lot.
I noticed on your website at West Herr, I didn't have to look too far, and it's very prominent. You've got 3 locations for glass. Talk to us about that and why you branched out into 3 locations. Tell us that.
So we're spread all over Western New York. We start in the Buffalo market, and then we work our way up through Rochester, and then we do have a store in Syracuse. So we're spread quite a bit across of our community. So we wanted to make sure that we had locations that would be the most convenient for our customers to visit. There are still some companies out there that like to travel to your home or travel to your business and do that glass work, but we're trying to shy away from that so we can have a controlled environment, make sure that we can control the car, and we want to bring customers to us. So in an effort to stay convenient for our customer base, we wanted to locate those stores where we could service our own shops and service our customer networks in areas where they're kind of congregated and concentrated. So 2 in Buffalo, 1 out in our Rochester market to kind of hit all the spots.
Mark, what other challenges have you come across? Because I know you work with a wide variety of dealerships in many locations, not just in that snow belt there on the I-90.
Yeah, Chris hit on, I think, much of what we're seeing. Finding somebody to get you started. Training is another issue. Once you've got that person that has got the expertise, experience in the industry, now getting, trained personnel, people that are certified. So we've been around long enough. We've got some connections in the industry. We can even help you get some of that taken care of. Getting the word out, I think you need to get outside of the box a little bit. It's not just a matter of putting your sign up, but you might have to put some feet on the ground. How many dealerships have thought about going and talking to insurance agents?
No money.
Yeah,
Get them to refer their customers back to you, when
and that's brand new for
fleet
us.
accounts.
Chris, I'm thinking, I'm just kind of imagining what Tully and Ed are thinking right now, because here are 2 big dealership groups, big dealerships who focus on the customer experience and customer satisfaction. What's the impact of having in-house glass, Chris, on the customer satisfaction?
Well, I mean, we've seen really great gains in the customer satisfaction. I mean, you have a customer who really came to you by choice. And, to Ed's point, why are we pushing our customers out to another outfit and then entrusting them with part of that customer service for the whole finished product? So we're not really sure if that's going to go well. So we already know that we do these things well, and our customers come to us because they believe that, and that's what they're looking for. So we have seen really great customer service gains with being able to do things all in one stop. We can send our technicians to a service center. So if the vehicle's in there, customer may call us and say, I have a service appointment. I'm getting X, Y, and Z done on my Subaru, but I also have a broken glass. Can we make this all happen at once? And the answer is absolutely. We sure can. You don't have to move your car. You don't need to have another appointment. You don't need to do this, do that. We're going to handle this all for you. So customer service is also priority for us here at West Herr. And I can tell you that being able to do another thing or 2 for the customer all in a one-stop shop and make their life simpler certainly contributes to that.
Tully, I know you may have some questions. You and I have been on panels in the past talking about ADAS and ADAS calibration and how important that is and how that continues to grow and grow in our industry.
It does. I mean, that's the importance of glass. And I think Ed's spot on. It said tires. It's like tires, right? We were in the tire business. We're not in the auto body business. We're not in the glass business. Yes, we are, right? So how do we do that? What is a customer when they walk in the driveway and they have their car serviced on a yearly basis for the most part, is who do they talk to? Who do they trust? Is their service advisor. And the best way for us to talk to them about their glass is the service advisor will talk to them about our body shop, which is factory trained and factory certified. We sell factory tires on your car, not cars that are hopefully are at Costco, right? And we sell factory glass or glass that matches a factory, and we can install here, and your car will be done by a factory trained, not a person that practices on the automobile. It's a factory trained person, because the security and safety for the customer is at far most. Why would they need to go anywhere else? And your goal is to bring it all in house. And the best person to help market that is our service advisors in the service department. Now, when it comes to glass, We do sell glass contracts at F&I, as F&I is our friends in service. Is that the part of the question is going to be, if you buy glass today, guess what? We will take care of the glass contract for you inside our service department to make sure it's done by a factory trained technician, not a person practicing on your car. So there's two things going to happen with glass. One, we can sell it in the box when they buy the car. And next, we're going to talk about glass as we talk about tires on every visit. So they know what happens when my car has a problem. Guess who they call? They call their service advisor. And that service advisor can advise them what to do next. That's the key here, is what we focus on and have factory trained technicians is the key to make glass successful.
Ed, this sounds like making glass a part of your brand. It clearly is at West Herr. And a lot of the things that Tully is saying lead up to that as well.
Absolutely. It's anything that we do to send our customers away from our store is our fault. We have to take ownership of that and do something with it. And we talked a few minutes ago about the technology that ties into it. Think about the sound deadening that comes from the factory windshield versus something else we may be putting in there. And then we may be discounting what the customer's perception of their vehicle is because it doesn't sound the same. It doesn't operate the same. It doesn't do all those things. And if we don't control those elements, if we don't handle those elements in-house, then we're putting ourselves at risk. And we're putting ourselves at risk to lose that customer to a different brand, to something else, because they're no longer getting the same experience that they started off with that vehicle. So unfortunately, at dealers, we usually take the path of the least resistance, and it's been easier to let somebody else come in with their trucks and do it. And then we say, okay, well, our first line of defense is, well, we can't make any money at it. Well, if a guy can buy a vehicle and inventory that up and haul it around in the back of that vehicle and come into your property and do that work and make money at it, there has to be some money in it. And so if there isn't a way to make money in it, maybe the way we're doing business right now, there's not. And it's time to circle around. Like Tully said, am I going to make the same rate? No. Am I going to make money on it? Yes. And think about the number one thing that we do the most in our service departments. We provide a service to our customers to change their oil. And we don't make money at it. But we do it for what reason? To keep them coming back. Same thing here. Everybody has a glass experience somewhere along the way, whether they're up in upstate New York getting hit with pieces of salt, or they're down here in the land of the orange cone and rocks or something's flying up from the construction trucks and hitting it. It happens. It's not a matter of if, it's when.
And I would imagine, having been to Bozard, that your organization is very competitive. You offer a great customer experience. And I look back at a couple of years ago when you got into the mobile game with those first couple of units, and a lot of people said, well, we're not quite sure how that pencils. And I'm thinking about the oil change, and I'm thinking about the tires, and now I'm thinking about the mobile service. And now, Ed, I'm thinking about the glass in-house. And this all follows that same parallel.
Well, like you just said, it follows. We are traditionally followers in the automobile industry, and we need to lead the way. And we can wait until someone chews our lunch up here, or we can step out there and take care of it now. And it's okay to be a trendsetter rather than being a trend follower. And the opportunities are now to be the trendsetter and not wait until we have to do it. Because when we have to do it, the talented people that we want to do it are no longer available because the trendsetters took them. So let's get in it now.
Hey, as a consumer, who am I going to think is the most knowledgeable on my vehicle?
The dealer.
Isn't it the dealership?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So why am I going to somebody else to service my vehicle?
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
that's just kind of an oxymoron, if you ask me.
Exactly.
Chris, you're the director of collision operations at the West Herr Automotive Group. How does bringing the glass in-house contribute to your group's overall competitiveness in the market? Because I know you've got some folks here who are very competitive on this panel.
So again, I'll circle back to the one thing is making sure we're keeping our customer in the ecosystem. So we do want to be able to do everything, not move that work out. I know it's been said a couple of times already today, but we don't want to move that work out to a sublet vendor. We want to be able to keep everything under our roof and take care of everything for our customer, make sure that we can control it. We do also benefit for speed, that we seem to be able to do things a lot faster when we can control them rather than waiting on a schedule of another outfit or a separate vendor or something along those lines. We make the schedule. We set that schedule. We can do things now. We have urgency and we can handle it immediately. It certainly has benefited our collision operations where our own team is waiting on standby to come over there and service the collision vehicle in the collision business. So that's great. And being able to sell glass from our OEMs and have that stuff in stock, we can operate and deploy vehicles right away. If we have a customer that needs a piece of glass, chances are we have it right there already in stock. We're storing it, so we can go ahead and get that deployed right away with our schedule on our timeline, rather than worrying about using someone else who has a whole bunch of other customers and they're just going to try and fit us in when it's convenient for them. So that is definitely a major benefit to us.
And Chris, give us an overview. Where does the business come from? You mentioned insurance companies a little bit earlier, but as a dealership gets into the in-house glass business, what are some of the new avenues that are open to dealerships? If you wouldn't mind maybe sharing your thoughts with us.
Well, majority of the work does come from insurance carriers, but here in New York, we have to do state inspections. So everything is inspected annually for everyone's car. And in New York, if you have damage to your windshield, that fails an inspection. So because we do a lot of inspections, hundreds of thousands of them annually, we have quite a few customers that have compromised windshields. So that's an opportunity right there for us to be able to have another upsell, capture the inspection, but also do that for our customers. So our business comes internally. Our customers not only rely, to Tully's point, on their service advisor teams and their relationships with them, but our sales force. Our sales force are great salespeople for them. A lot of times a customer will have a new car. Maybe they didn't have a glass experience before. They're going to call their salesperson as well because they trust them, and they're going to ask their salesperson, what is it that I do? What should I do here? Well, we have that referral business coming right back to our own teams from our sales force. And then, of course, there's advertising like you had spoken about on our website. And we do some things in our service drives to make sure that customers who are waiting, visiting our service teams also know that we do glass too. So that's kind of the thing. It comes from business. It comes from our own internal environment, our collision centers, our service teams, our sales teams, and F&I as well.
You know, Tully, I'm thinking about California. I know you've probably got inspections of vehicles, and I'm listening to all the opportunities here, Tully.
You know, we don't have a state inspection. We have the smog inspection, and honestly, the first 5 years are free. But here's the deal. Every car comes to us every year. We see every customer every year. Our retention's at 70 plus at some of our stores. We make people happy. The Nelos have been in business for 102 years. We're not going anywhere. So our point is tell the customers that come in the driveway, we have glass, right? When their car gets in an accident, they bring it to Nelo Collision. When they have a problem with their tire, they bring it to the Nelo company. If they have a problem with their glass, they need to bring it to the car dealership. Who better, like Mark said, who better can work on the car than the car dealership? It's all about making sure they're educated in the service drive. And that's the challenge. You know, it's so funny that our service runners, you know, want to sell hours, right? Why won't we want to sell glass and remind them? It's just something we have to put in front of them and talk about that and have handouts in the driveway, have stickers on the ROs. It's just another thing that we do. Guess what? We sell tires. Oh my God. And oh my God, we have a body shop. And oh my God, we sell glass, right? That's what we got to tell our customers in the driveway because they trust us, right? That's the reason we have great CSI and we have great retention because that's what it is all about. We don't want another van with somebody else's name in it to come on our lot.
Ed Roberts.
Tully nailed it. Why would you want to give away your business to someone else? And we've done it for decades, and then we go try to find out how to get it back. And we're doing it here. And right now they're having to bring it back because they can't do the calibrations and they can't do those things. Just capture it, do it all. It is our business to begin with. Let's put the processes in place to take care of it. And then we take care of the customer from end to end. Like Mark said, as a consumer, I think the best people that can take care of my vehicle is the dealer. Well, if the dealer says we can't take care of that, is he going to think that the dealer is the best place to take care of that vehicle in the future?
I love it. So let me come over to Chris and then Mark about getting involved and taking the next steps. Chris, was it difficult to get started? Give us your perspective on that for the audience watching today who are thinking of getting into the in-house glass business? And then I'm going to come over to Mark to tell us how we do it.
Was it difficult to get started? No, actually, because we did it in stages. So to where we are now, it was difficult. To start it, it wasn't, because we only started it with our own internal business. We didn't have it available to customers. We basically wanted to test drive ourselves and our business model before we roll this out to the masses and said, all right, everybody bring your glass to us. We're going to be able to handle it. But we didn't want to fail, so we wanted to start small. So we started small. We started only servicing our own cars, our own inventory, and our own collision centers. Once we were able to master that, it did become a little bit more difficult to become certified with the insurance carriers. There are a couple of insurance carriers that use one specific network to go ahead and do a lot of the pay and the claim process and all that stuff. So partnering up with Mark and his team, finding our industry expert to help us get us off the ground, that was the most difficult part. And then inching and clawing our way towards capturing some of those customers from our market was a little bit of a challenge, but we kept at it. We kept, putting it in everyone's face and making sure that they knew that we did glass. We do glass. We do tires. We do collision. We do everything. We also do glass. Don't forget about that. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but once that word got out and we did a whole bunch of customers and we sure as heck made them happy, just like we do all of them, word started to spread and everybody now knows that we do glass. You need anything on your car, you need to call us, and we can do it all, including glass.
Mark Haeck, help our audience. How do we get started, Mark?
Give me a call. Seriously, West Herr, when they started, the fellow they hired to help get the program going had worked for one of our customers for a number of years. And it was fun actually watching them grow from that initial site now to 3 locations. And it was just exactly what he said. They're into the insurance. They've developed, they've expanded. They got out of just the collision shop, have a facility, and I've seen this elsewhere. They have a facility that's their auto glass center. So it's not hidden, tucked away. It's out there where it's local and it's visible. And then it's getting the software that can help you do the billing, help you do the lookup, help you order the glass, help you manage the business on the technology side of things. And that's what we do to help get things going.
Tully, I know you don't get excited too often, but I'm excited. This is like a dawn of a new day here in fixed operations.
I want to tell you, when you see a tech that at BMW makes 4 hours to put glass in, okay, as flat rate techs, it doesn't take 4 hours, right? And then when I was at our service manager dinners that we have, and I was saying, hey, I asked the BMW stores to talk about glass, and they all of a sudden the other guys are going, whoa, wait a minute, how do we get in that gig? I said, we got to get them trained, and the trained is probably the hardest part on our side, is to get factory trained on glass, because factories don't have training, right? So then we share resources between stores. But if you want to get technicians excited about making hours, talk about selling glass. Glass is a great deal, and if you're all about the hours and not the money, glass is a great gig. It's just like tires. You're not in the tires for the money. You're in the tire for retention, and you're in to sell hours. That's what it's all about. Glass is exactly the same thing. We're super excited about glass in all of our stores as we install. I just can't wait to start putting in used cars and all the other cars that are a collision center. That's the best part.
Ed, I'm excited as well. And Ed, I think we've also found, in addition to Mark, today we found a new superstar for the Fixed Ops Roundtable in Chris from West Herr.
Absolutely. I have a question for Chris in just a moment that I want to touch on that we didn't say in just a few minutes ago that Tully just dangled the carrot out there on. Think about all those used cars that we bring in here. And the opportunity is there for those things to not have to sub that out to somebody else. We control it in-house. And Chris, my question for you is, do you guys do glass?
I think we do glass. Yeah, absolutely we do glass. Yes, we do.
Everybody,
guys,
Mark Haeck.
Somebody said that timing's everything. There's another thing that I think plays well to the dealership right now, and that has to do with timing. There's a lot of guys in the glass industry that are getting ready to retire, and they don't have family members They don't have somebody coming along to take on the business. So you're going to see a lot of those guys that were pulling in with trucks going away. Well, who's going to do the glass now? And it really makes sense for the dealership to snatch that business up and again, do the whole job, not just part of it. A lot of the consumers out there that don't understand as well the integrity of the vehicle, structural integrity that lies within a good glass job. So there's a lot more tied to a vehicle today with glass than ever before. So I'm excited to see what's kind of this transition and seeing more dealerships do the whole thing. Don't just sell me the car, take care of it afterwards.
Everybody, if you want to reach out to Mark Haeck at Glass Management Software for Dealerships, you see the information on the bottom of the screen. He's very active on social media. I know the last time Mark was on the roundtable, folks called me up and said, how do I get a hold of Mark? Well, here's your opportunity, everybody. He's very active on social media as well. Mark Haeck from GMS Dealerships. I want to thank Tully Williams, Ed Roberts, and Chris from West Herr for being on the panel today. Eye-opening. I learned a lot and took a lot of notes, everybody. So very grateful to all of you. And Mark for opening this door to the Fixed Ops Roundtable as well. Everybody, Mark Haeck from GMS, Chris from West Herr, Ed, and Tully here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Bye-bye.